Guys, what is up? Lefty back here again, and thanks for checking out the video. So obviously we can see we have a new background here. We're back in the kitchen. If you guys have been following the channel, obviously people know that we've been moving and we actually got the chance to get into the house. We are not settled by all means, you know, boxes and boxes are behind you here. But, you know, obviously, and what I've noticed too is that this house has a hell of an echo, so we need more shit in here to kind of deaden it. So it's going to be a little bit awkward for audio, and I apologize for that. So I'll try to keep my voice down a little bit closer to the phone, so hopefully, you know, it kind of alleviates a lot of that echo. But since we are in the new location, I thought it would be a perfect time to kind of do a revamp or kind of do a rebranding, so to speak, and kind of start over and start fresh. Obviously, not that it really means much practically, but it gives me an opportunity to kind of go through new things, or at least pretending like the channel is new, let's say, and just kind of starting over fresh with some of like the old stuff, but the good stuff. So today, in a little bit of a series of videos that I want to do real quick, is going to be about EDC again, bringing it back to the good old EDC. And this is specifically going to be covering the gear side of the EDC thing. I will be doing things about kind of the mindset and all this other little things on the side here, but obviously I want to tackle the big thing, which everybody cares about anyway, and probably nobody will watch the other one regardless. So I want to do the thing that's going to get the most views for the channel so it grows and all that fun stuff. So anyway, let's get right into it. All right, guys, I wanted to spin the camera around. As you can see, the pile of boxes in the background, that's not all of them. That's just the ones that are empty. There's piles more downstairs. Don't worry about it. But I actually quickly just thought, before I start taking my stuff off, I should probably just show what it looks like with it on. And this is kind of my everyday thing, so to speak, when I'm just kind of dressing casually or whatever, going about my day. So as you can see, I had to actually stand on my tippy toes here. Just normal jeans, normal shirt. It's kind of a nicer day in Minnesota. You know, it's finally warming up, but this is kind of considering what I would do in kind of that fall, spring day. Obviously things can change as it warms up, but that's kind of what it looks like. So let's see what's underneath the shirt. Okay, so let's kind of talk about the gear thing. I want to make a little preface to this point real quick. So obviously congratulations if you're thinking about getting into this sort of thing, about wearing gear and guns and all that stuff and protecting people outside of your house. Awesome, good for you. One thing you need to know, that this is going to be an expensive journey. I'm kind of here to sort of alleviate a little bit of the expense that you're going to have to endure throughout your journey. I think most people probably have gone through multiple different holsters, multiple different guns, setups, orientations, you know, all that stuff, sexual orientations, who knows. So I'm just here to kind of give you my kind of take on things and what I've kind of discovered throughout, I don't know why I said it's a word, throughout my kind of EDC thing as relates to gear. So let's kind of jump into it. Okay, so we're going to start with the cornerstone of the EDC, which is going to be the belt. Now, this is kind of one of those things where it's like, people go on and on about belts and all this stupid shit. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if I were going to review this belt, it would take about maybe 30 seconds, 60 seconds. It's a belt. You know, a normal day belt is going to keep your pants from slipping down your ass, and a EDC/gun belt is just going to hold your shit up, right? So, and one way to tell if it's a good belt is to do this. Does it hold its shape when you hold it? Even with the buckle out here, even when it's not even connected, yeah, it does it pretty well. That's all that really matters. I mean, these things are going to wear out eventually, and you just got to replace them. This one is for people that give a shit. And there's lots of them like this in this style, and this is kind of my favorite, so, you know, it is what it is. But this is an SOE EDC belt with the Cobra buckle. 1.5 inches, I would say that's probably my favorite thickness. I was going to make a joke there, but I just gave up. I mean, there's different belts out there with different, like, attachment systems and all this thicknesses and different materials used. Honestly, this belt I think is about 60 bucks. I've had it for years. I've had it for literally probably, yeah, I've had this probably close to 8 years. And this was kind of one of the bigger brands on YouTube, at least when the kind of the gun shooting community kind of came out. SOE was kind of all over the place. So I like a lot of their stuff. My favorite is obviously the belt. I mean, I think these belts are, they're 60 bucks. There's other ones that have, like I said, different attachment mechanisms and all that shit. But at the end of the day, it's still a fucking belt. You know, find out what works good for you. But I think for 60 bucks for a gun type belt, I think it's awesome bang for your buck. I guess my only gripe with this is that now that I've taken it off, I actually have to put it back on. And that can kind of be, you know, more work than other belts, obviously. Personally, too, as well, and this is why it's not a big of a pain in the ass for me, at least personally. is that when I go out for my job and I'm working and stuff like that, I put on kind of a monkey suit looking sort of thing. Like I have like a little bit dressier pants, blah, blah, blah. When I come home, this belt is already in my jeans, and I wear my jeans for the rest of the day, which could be a couple hours. It could be like 5 hours. So I wear my jeans probably 2 or 3 days a week, maybe even a little bit more depending on stuff like that. So that's just kind of what I do. Some people might, you know, gasp at that sort of thing, but I don't really give a shit. My wife still loves me and I don't really care. Okay, we're gonna go on from that. I would save the gun to the end so everybody watches, but I know that's not gonna happen. So we're just gonna go for gun. I like Glocks. I think right now everybody is in an amazing position right now to be in this sort of market, because back in the day, you know, you could pick yay gun off the shelf and, you know, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. No, the YouTube gun community wasn't really a thing, so what you know about a gun is just what you've seen in YouTube or whatever the fuck. Now, so what you hear about a gun, you just see on like online gun review magazines, whatever the hell you got, or just kind of word of mouth from people. But now you can go online and there's oodles and noodles of people that review these guns and see how good they hold up and how good they are and blah, blah, blah. And that's awesome. And nowadays you can go to a gun store and pick, as long as it's kind of a big name brand that you would recognize, even gun people or even non-gun people would recognize, you're probably good to go. So that's kind of nice. For me personally, I like kind of the compact. I don't like the subcompacts. I like to have like a lot of meat around the, like I want to be able to put my hand on the gun, right? I don't want to have this fucking pinky shit hanging off, and I don't want the gun to be so goddamn big, because if you go on, you know, Instagram or something like that, people are like EDC carrying this shit. It's just like, I mean, yeah, that's fucking badass, but I just, you know, I don't have the crotch room for it. Like I got too much room taken up down here by, you know, the downstairs area. So, you know, this really doesn't really work for me, especially considering you have to put a holster around that. This works good for me. I think it's a good size. Yeah, I like it. I would, if anybody's kind of looking more to the subcompacts or like the micro pistols and shit, I would probably steer clear away from that. Just my personal preference. If you were gonna take that thing into a fight, let me back it up. If somebody said, "Hey, person on the other side of the screen, you're gonna get in a gunfight right fucking now," would you grab that little subcompact, little fucking whatever you got into a gunfight against whatever the hell else you're gonna face? I mean, I don't know what he's bringing, but I would not feel confident with that gun. If you shoot little guns well and you feel comfortable with them, yeah, you don't carry them. More power to you. But personally, I would feel pretty confident with this against anything. Now, obviously you want to be a smart ass and shit, like, oh, there's a sniper off in the woods. Yeah, obviously not, but, you know, people got to be smart asses and shit. So yeah, I'm not going to really talk much more about the gun because it really doesn't matter. I mean, buy a gun that works, shoot it, make sure your ammo feeds well, and I guess I'll talk about ammo real quick. People have their preferences. I like Federal HSTs. You cannot find this shit anywhere right now. So good luck to everybody with defense ammo. Otherwise, you know, big name brands, ammo, we got Hornady, Federal, Golds, Spear Gold Dots. Those are the ones that I would probably stick to, because there's this brand, that brand sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care about the ballistics and all that stuff when it comes to defense ammo. I choose defense ammo to carry mainly because the damn things will work more often than just range ammo. You know, there's a higher specifications, a higher QC that they have to go through in order to be kind of the premium defense ammo. That's why I want it. I want it just because it's going to go bang more times than just range ammo, even though there's plenty of range ammo out there that I've never had an issue with, other than like Wolf or fucking Tula or something like that. Because at the end of the day, these things are going to punch holes in things and just kind of do what they do. They're bullets that you don't really know what happens after they leave the chamber. It could hit perfectly and all of a sudden they're incapacitated because it hit like a nervous system or whatever. Point is, I just want a lot of bullets in the gun and I want them to go bang when I pull the trigger. Flying through this thing. And obviously, if you want more details about what kind of guns I like and all that stuff, I have shit on my channel if you want to go through this. Is just kind of a quick overview with regards to gear. Yeah, so moving forward, holsters, I think this is a big thing now. There's a whole bunch of holster companies out there. A few of them have kind of faded. My first one, I kind of went with Bravo Concealment. Those are kind of the very skinny Kydex holster maker. There's a whole bunch of those kind of companies out there that are doing it. I still like G-Code. If you have a big name gun, G-Code probably has a holster for it in terms of the kind of the waistband sort of thing. The problem with G-Code is if you do have some kind of weird gun that you like, and most of the time G-Code probably will not have a holster for it. That's the only negative with G-Code. They're kind of slow to adopt certain things, which is blah. But if you have a big name gun, Smith & Wesson, Glock, CZ, you're probably good to go if you want to use a G-Code. I just like them. I think they're pretty reasonable price. They do have a lifetime warranty to a degree. I actually broke my original one. This is the one they sent me. And yeah, I mean, I like their shit. But again, doesn't really matter. Just find something you like and that works. That I would highly stress stay away from. I would prefer this Kydex. I don't care if it's the really thick injection molded stuff or the really thin, 0.08 Kydex or whatever the hell they use. I would just stick with Kydex. I don't like leather. I don't like anything that foldy shit. I want it hard. I want this nice click. I want to make sure that there's no way anything is getting into this trigger and it's going to be protected, because this is pointing at my dick, or it's pointing at my balls, or it's pointing at my leg, potentially. I don't know. I just want something rigid around the gun and around that trigger for that purpose. Since we kind of talked about it a little bit, let's just kind of quickly go over spare ammo. I think everybody should go into spare ammo. There's a whole bunch of mag carriers out there. Like I said, this is G-Code again. I just like it. I like the outside waistband. I do have inside waistband mag carriers. I generally don't do that anymore, just the way I kind of run my shit. But, I think whether it's in a pocket, whether it's in whatever, I think people should carry high quality magazines, like OEM facture fucking magazines, and then just more of the ammo that they're already using. I think it's a good idea for malfunctions, and I think it's a good idea just in case you need more ammo. Because nobody was ever pissed off that they brought too much ammo. Going forward in that, this is getting a little bit more into kind of a personal preference sort of thing, to a degree in terms of how much you're gonna allow yourself to carry. But one nice thing that I think people should bring is some type of blade. There's a whole bunch of blades. I like Kershaw because I think, they have a lot of good bang for their buck. And this is another goddamn piece of kit that I can't stand people when they review shit. Like, I understand it's like, different metals and all that stuff, but it's a fucking knife at the end of the day. And like, can I sharpen it? Will it hold its edge? And does it cut shit? That's it. Like, I don't really care about anything else when it comes to kind of like a utility knife. But yeah, I like Kershaw. I think they got a good bang for the buck. This is a little bit more of an expensive one. My second favorite, I don't know where it is. It's just sort of the same sort of flipper. Yeah, I mean, it's a knife. I think people should carry it to cut shit open, because you look like an asshole if you don't have a knife and you really need a knife and you're gonna use your keys or something like that. Just bring a fucking pocket knife. Like, my God. Even, fucking terrible states with regards to freedom let you carry like a little tiny pocket knife. So carry a pocket knife. Now, if you want to go further, I recommend, situationally dependent, maybe some type of defensive blade as well. Whole bunch of these things out there. You got a K-bar TDIs, you got the clinch pick, you got whatever that stabby one is. I don't know. The one where you can like hold in your hand, you can like stab people with it. Nah, fucking no. You throw a punch with it. I think those are good ideas. I would never tell somebody that they have to carry a defensive blade. I just think it's a good idea in an entanglement. I already have videos on this blade and a couple other things, so if you want to go check that out, you can. But, not a bad idea. And I really haven't found a wrong blade. If you're going to go defensive blade, I would try to find something that's fixed, that has a sheath that goes on the belt. That's just kind of my opinion. In a defensive application, when people are on top of you and shit, trying to get this out of the pocket, orientate your hand perfectly, and then get it to flip open and not kind of do this kind of like limp dick thing where it's like, you're pulling it out, now you got this sort of situation, you're going to try to cut them like that. I don't know. So, I mean, it's a good idea if you're kind of defensive-minded to think about blades. Blades scare me more than guns do, just kind of a personal preference, but, going on. Then to kind of round it off, I mean, obviously this has kind of been changing a little bit in the atmosphere with regards to medical. I still see a little bit, people are trying to make medical sexy. It's not. Medical is never going to be sexy, but what I have noticed is people are obviously caring a lot more about tourniquets and all this other stuff, but, I would say this is good to have, because if you don't have this, you're kind of shit out of luck, and bleeding to death is not going to be fun. When you could have just been like, oh, I could have brought my tourniquet. But then again, people are caring about that a little bit too much and not about the other stuff. Like on your person, I mean, I completely get it. You're kind of limited in terms of like real estate you can work with to actually like carry stuff. But for me personally, I can talk about this in another video as well. It's like I have a little bit more of an expanded medical pouch, either in the car or in a bag or something like that. So, but that has more like the boo-boo stuff, like, you know, Band-Aids, tape, or, you know, whatever stuff, you know, that you don't really give a shit about. Really, nobody does. But kind of the sexy medical is things that I'm trying to see a little bit more, and I think that's kind of coming to fruition through a few people on YouTube. But yeah, tourniquets are a good one. With regards to medical tourniquets, cat tourniquet or a soft T wide, I don't like any of those other goddamn tourniquets. I did a small little review over the rat's tourniquet. I do not like it. It's basically just kind of a bungee cord sort of thing with a little hook mechanism. I do not like that. The application is fairly quick when you're doing it on an arm. Problem is your leg, and I would assume your legs are a little bit bigger than your arms. My gun is pointing toward my legs. I do not like the rat's tourniquet because it will not go around my legs. Especially when I was in hockey, my legs are still fairly decent size. That thing will get around maybe once, but if I have keys and if I have stuff in my pockets, I cannot get that fucker around there. So that's just kind of the way it is, and I don't like that. I like to be able to like crush my goddamn artery in my fucking leg. Like I need to crush my femoral artery so I don't bleed to death, you know. Just kind of a thing that I'm into. So those are the two tourniquets that I would recommend, and if you are gonna carry them on person, there are a few ways. I like the soft T wide. I don't have it here again. I don't know where the hell it is. It's in a box somewhere. But those are really easy to kind of compress up and use a rubber band, and you can kind of stick it in your back pocket. Only problem is they eat the shit out of your pants, so that little metal windlass is really abrasive on your shit. But otherwise, these are good too. You can stick this in a pocket or a cargo pocket if you're into those. I skipped over dress real quick just because I'm going to do that in kind of a separate video with a few other things in there thrown together for that reason. But this is what I'm kind of into, and I will not carry this all times of the day. But if I go to somewhere where I'm going to be away from my car, you know, and with a lot of people, like say at like a mall, or we're going out shopping somewhere, or we're at the fair, or somewhere where you're going to be around a lot of people away from your car, I like to have a little bit more medical stuff. So in this one, this is a North American Rescue tourniquet pouch and medical pouch, or whatever they're called. Holds a tourniquet here. There's a chest seal in here. Some gauze, and then I think a pressure bandage. Yeah, pressure bandage in there. So fun stuff. That is one option. That is, like I said, more situationally dependent, because I'm not going to be... I used to kind of carry that a little bit more often than not, but then I'm just like, nah, I'm not doing it. And then there's other things too, like you can have these pouches. Obviously, you're not going to hold on to this on your person, but this is the shit that you can stick in your car or your bag or whatever the stuff you got to carry. Personally, I'm kind of shying away from pouches just because... I don't know why, they just feel douchebaggy to me. Most of the time you can just kind of get like a pre-made medical kit that I think are actually really nice. This, if you have the capacity, you actually can carry this in like a cargo pocket. Again, I'm not a cargo pants kind of person, but you know, people are, and this is a potential for that. There are things that you can get in here to make a little bit smaller footprint. Obviously, if you had a soft T wide, it would be more about that size. So you can take about a few inches off, which, you know, makes it a little bit more concealable if that is a concern of yours. But yeah, I mean, obviously then too, sticking these in cars and car doors, or sticking these in bags, this is a little bit more easy than trying to have like, okay, I'm going to assemble my medical stuff by a separate pouch and then just kind of start filling stuff up. I mean, I still do that, but for kind of your, I need a lot of stuff, a lot of wear, I'm not really worried about a fucking pouch kind of thing. So that's just kind of what it is. One thing I actually skipped over, unfortunately, I don't know why I did, is lights. This kind of goes back to the gun stuff, because you can't shoot at what you can't identify as a threat. So I like carrying a flashlight. Now, as I kind of prefaced before with the IG Instagram fucking special with the big ass gun with the big ass light on it, regardless, you need to be able to see what the hell you're shooting at. So I like having a big light. This is kind of the biggest light that I will carry in my pocket. It is a Streamlight HLX, 1000 lumens. It's got a pretty good throw, pretty good candle and all that stuff if you give a shit. But yeah, I like this. I like the size of it. Is it a little big? Yes, especially when I wear a little bit tighter pants that can get kind of irritating to me. But if I actually have to pull it out and use it as a light, I like how big it is. It doesn't have like an overly aggressive bezel on it where it's got the fucking teeth and all that stuff. But as you can see, it fills my hand pretty good. So if you actually have to do strike with it, it's definitely doable. This is basically my primary. My close secondary when I have a little bit too tight of pants, you know, for reasons. I like to rock the ProTac 1L 1AA. That's kind of like my favorite. I think you can use a AA, or I think it has a CR, yep, it has a CR 123 in there. Not that like you can see that when I open that up, but believe me, it's in there. This I think is just a couple hundred lumens, but I mean, to actually shine this in the eyes of somebody in the dark, it still works. And it's got just a little bit hanging out there. I mean, if you actually had to strike too, so that would still work for that. I like a light where I can get my hand around it. I don't like the really skinny fucking lights. But yeah, that I would definitely recommend, and you need to have a light. Either a Streamlight or a Surefire. Everything else fucking sucks. I don't care. I don't care about your old lights. I don't care about your through nights, even though I think those are actually fairly decent. I've just had, you know, a few fail when you don't want them to fail, and then it's like, all right, well, I have this Surefire over here and I have this Streamlight. These don't do that, so just buy that shit. When kind of starting out this journey, it can definitely feel overwhelming. It's like, oh my god, what the fuck do I do, sort of thing. There's so many things to buy, there's so many people talking over here, over there, and I'm obviously guilty of that, right? So you can just take my opinion with a grain of salt, but there are a few things out there that you're gonna want to try. I don't need to buy that one, or I can buy a cheaper one, I can buy an off-brand one. Usually the adage of buy once, cry once actually is fairly accurate here. Now granted, these things are all tools, right? They all have a shelf life, they all wear out with time. But if you buy good quality shit, they will last a lot longer, so you will not have to replace them as quick as other brands. Oh, and real quick too, for anything electronic, make sure you get rechargeable batteries. You might have to spend a little bit more, but you know, that's just an example. Buy rechargeables because it saves your ass in the wallet and it saves your ass, you know, in life, I guess. Because obviously you can have a charger if you want to charge in your car, blah, blah, blah. A lot of this stuff that is shown is going to be in the links down below, and those links will support the channel. If you feel like supporting the channel, I do appreciate any and all support. But watching it, sharing it, commenting, all that stuff is a little bit more important right now for kind of making the channel grow and all that fun stuff. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I do have a little bit more videos that I want to make on this topic because I think it's obviously a very important topic, right? Than having like big rifles, plate carriers, all that stuff. This is going to be the more likely of a scenario. This is the more likely stuff that you're going to have if shit actually does go down. So, thank you guys for watching. Be good.